Hey guys, it is Thursday, April 30th. Today, our task is to read 96 to 98. Awesome. That's not bad at all, just a few pages. And then we've got to complete both of the reading tasks. So, why don't we go ahead and get started together? Make sure you have your copy of the text, Fahrenheit 451, open in one tab, and that you have your Part 2 reading guide open in another tab. So yesterday we left off on 96, but I want us to go through and reread page 96 together because we're doing kind of a close reading of the poem that Montag reads to Mildred and her two friends while they're over. So our questions that we've got to tackle is what is the significance or importance of the poem's meaning? And how does it connect to the text? So the way that we're going to answer these two big questions are by breaking it down with these three questions. First, what is the poet saying in the two opening verses? And in order to kind of break this down, we're going to use our workspace over here to pull out diction, or in other words, word choice, from the first stanza that we notice that seems significant. And then we're going to use that diction from the first stanza to identify the author's tone. Remember, the author's tone is his attitude, so how he feels about the topic at hand. Awesome. Then our next step is to kind of break down this phrase. So the phrase bright girdle furled implies what? And I'm just going to again use this workspace to kind of break that down. Next up, I have to describe the shift in tone in the second stanza. So before I can describe the shift in tone, I have to follow the same process that I used in analyzing the first stanza. So I'm going to, again, pull out diction, so that's important word choice from the second stanza, break it down, make sure that I get the main gist of the second stanza, and then identify the author's tone. So already I got a clue here that there's a shift, so there's a change. So I know that the tone from the second stanza is going to be different from the tone in the first. Once I have identified those two tones and pulled out all the diction, then I'm able to make more sense of it as a whole. So what does this shift or change in tone, the author's attitude, reveal or show us about the author's attitude toward the topic? So we don't really know what the topic is yet, but if we're pulling out the diction, the word choice, we should be able to identify what the topic is. So close reading poetry is hard. It's tricky, and all we can do is just break it down. So we are going to walk through a lot of this together. Meet me on page 96. What's the title, dear? Dover Beach. His mouth was numb. So remember, this is Montag that we're talking about. Now read in a nice clear voice and go slow. The room was blazing hot. He was all fire. He was all coldness. Ooh, that is an oxymoron. They sat in the middle of an empty desert with three chairs and him standing, swaying, and him waiting for Mrs. Phelps to stop straightening her dress hem and Mrs. Bowles to take her fingers away from her hair. So just the actions of these ladies here, they seem kind of nervous. They seem kind of distracted. He wants their full attention. Then he began to read in a low, stumbling voice that grew firmer as he progressed from line to line, and his voice went out across the desert, into the whiteness, and around the three women there in the great hot emptiness. So he's reading this poem called Dover Beach. He does not, or at least we don't see him read the entire thing, but just so y'all know, Dover Beach is a poem by Matthew Arnold. It is it's pretty long, but we're only looking at these two stanzas here. These last two stanzas. The sea of faith was once too at the full, and round the earth's shore lay like the folds of a bright girdle furled. So I know that I have a question about this line in particular, but I want to just break it down here. So the sea of faith was once too at the full. So in my head, what I'm picturing is, okay, a sea of faith, of belief in something, of hope, a sea like an ocean, a great expanse of water. So if a sea of faith is full, that would indicate to me that, A lot of people on earth have hope, have faith in something, have optimism, have positivity. So it was full and around the earth's shore, so surrounding the earth. Lay like the folds of a bright girdle furled. So a girdle is like, here, let's just Google it. Girdle definition. It's like a belt or a cord around the waist. Does it give us any pictures here? Okay, so like back in the day, oh gosh, some of these are kind of funny. It's like a corset kind of thing, like a waist trainer, I guess would be like the common day comparison. Um, and then furled means it's neatly secured or it's folded up. Okay, so the sea of faith lay like folds of a bright girdle furled, so like kind of folded up. It's coming along the shore. But now I only hear its melancholy, long, withdrawing roar. So these first two lines seem pretty positive. So let's break down some diction in particular. What I'm noticing is faith, full, around the earth's shore, bright. So I'm going to go back to my reading guide. Faith, full, round earth's shore, bright. I think that's it. But now I only hear its melancholy, long, withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of the night wind. Okay, melancholy is to be sad. So retreating, withdrawing is kind of like to give up. So it seems to me we had a lot of hope in these first two lines, but we kind of already get a shift in this first stanza as well. Retreating, withdrawing. Retreating to the breath of the night wind, down the vast edges drear and naked shingles of the world. The chairs creaked under the three women. Montag finished it out. Ah, love, let us be true to one another. For the world, which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy nor love nor light. So let us be true to one another. Let us be honest with one another. Let us love one another, because while the world may seem like it is a land of opportunity and there's so much hope in it, so much variety, it's so beautiful. Really, the earth doesn't have joy or love or light. Nothing is certain, so nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain. And we are here as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night. So there's a lot going on here as well. Let's just pull out some diction together. So dreams, beautiful, new, second stanza. And then, I mean, so the diction that stands out is joy, love, light. But what he's saying is Earth doesn't have any of this stuff. So just to shorten it, I'm going to say no joy, light, peace, certitude. What else? No help for pain. Ooh, confused, struggle, clash. Ooh, love was in there in the beginning. It's important to add. Okay, so now I can begin to kind of break some of this stuff down. So the author's tone here is that, well, remember, we've got to think about his attitude towards the topic. So what is the topic at hand? The topic seems to be faith and hope, right? So his tone is that he feels that the earth once had hope and faith, but that it has been lost. In the second stanza, the topic is, it's like what Earth has for us here, or like the potential, the opportunities, Earth's potential. And the tone here seems to be that Earth does not have these redeeming qualities for us. Rather, it is our job to love one another and create these things. We can't just rely on Earth to give us joy and light and peace and certitude if we, these ignorant armies, are fighting with each other. We are the ignorant armies. So really it's the people that are destroying Earth by fighting and clashing with one another. So what does the shift in tone reveal about the author's attitude toward the topic? The shift in tone from mourning, because he's mourning the loss of the faith of the planet, shift in tone from mourning to, he seems to get a lot more like realistic, and he cuts to the chase, and it's kind of a harsh tone. It's like Earth doesn't have joy or light or peace or anything. So the shift in tone from mourning to harsh reveals the author's attitude that it is humankind's job to create love and peace and beauty on Earth. Awesome. So now what I want y'all to do is to go ahead and finish reading the rest of page 96 through 98, and then your second reading task for today is to answer these two questions. What is each character's reaction to Montag's poem, and what does their reaction say about society? So you can either summarize each woman's reaction or give me a quote that represents it. Either one is fine with me, and then you'll just answer this question underneath. What do their reactions reveal about the impact of their society on individuals? So that is all for today. If you have any questions for me, hop onto office hours, shoot me an email, enjoy the rest of your reading, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow.